She'd like to hear the ocean song again, snap mountain trails that touch the wind, cast her heart down long winding country roads. From this window frame our sunset views, tapestries of places.
Where are we at?
We're in Victoria, BC, looking at the Empress Hotel and the Inner Harbour of Victoria Harbour, and it is an absolutely gorgeous spot to be.
There's the daughter, yeah. She had to say hello. You come down here this time of day, and on the lower causeway down here that you see people walking along, would be wall-to-wall people this time of day. This is unheard of for Victoria. There is relatively nobody here. We have tourists, but they're from BC. We have a few out-of-towners that have arrived by boat, their own private vessels, but the tourism is, of course, down, which is unfortunate. Not a bad place to be, John. I will admit that. So I've got a little cheat sheet of some interesting history, some facts about the buildings we're going to look at.
Well, don't tell anybody you got a cheat sheet. They'll think you're brilliant if you.
Oh, whatever. I wasn't even born here, but I consider myself born and raised here. And my daughter asked me, she says, "Is there anywhere in Victoria you don't really know?" And I said, "No, I pretty much know everywhere." So I may not know everything, but I know where to find it. So.
Well, what you don't know, we'll ask Zoe.
I bet it's pretty at night, all lit up with this street
It
lamp.
is gorgeous. The legislature that you can see off in the distance there, that's all lit up and quite the light display. The Empress, of course, the hotel has quite the light display and all the street lights and that. It is really pretty down here at night too, once it cools off. But then again, the night crowd, you get usually the buskers down on the causeway, which I don't think we have this year again. I don't think the city has handed out any licenses for busking, so we don't have the street performers, but that's usually you get huge crowds down here watching the street performers. It's a little water taxi service that bounces between all the little hot spots down here, so you don't have to walk around. They bounce over to Fisherman's Wharf, which is sort of down the harbor around the corner, and bounce across to some of the bigger hotels that are on the other side. Make it quite accessible for people just to get on, get off, and get to where they want to go. Take you guys on a little walk here.
Can hear the bells.
Can you hear the bells? There's a down on the corner here. I don't know if you can quite make it out. There is a chime tower on the corner, and that's where the bells are coming from.
Ah.
Pinch and zoom.
Do they have a carol on?
It's the same tone that plays, and it's probably the top of the hour. You can't tap and try and fit. Yeah, and then no. Okay.
Can we get a close up of those flower cards?
Hold on here a second. So just a close up of sort of, they just see it is the city of Garden, so we do have lots of flowers. Thanks for a beautiful walk.
Well taken care of.
Oh, nice.
I've been to Victoria and Ontario, and they both are so clean. No litter anywhere.
No, there's not. People will get after you here if you start doing that. So
Look at the old sailboat there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I was eyeing that before.
yes, we have a couple of festivals. We have a tall ship festival. Don't ask me what time of year. And then the cool one to come down and have a look around is an all wood boat festival. So some of the wood boats that we get in from, of course, Port Angeles, Seattle's not that far away by water. So we get some, under regular conditions, get quite the collection of boats that come through. So
Is there a catch rate on that?
That's the famous Empress Hotel. You can go to IT.
Famous Empress. So I gotta.
So you gotta be pretty rich to go there.
You gotta have a little bit of money. So you can have tea at the Empress. Of course, there's the tea room, which is really famous. They serve over 500,000 cups of tea a year annually. If you can believe that fact. And you can do the simple math here. They serve 500,000 cups annually, and it costs a little over $85 a person for tea.
What?
So at $85 per person. So
Wow.
at $85 per person times 500,000 makes for quite the expense. So the hotel was designed by Francis Rattenberry and was built by the Canadian Pacific Hotels, a division of Canadian Pacific Railway Company. And it opened on January 20th, 1908.
Wow.
Yes, and it's considered one of Canada's grand railway hotels. It was designated as a National Historic Site of Canada in January of 1981. And it hosts, I believe, around 464 rooms in the hotel. It's undergone a couple of restorations. The latest one, I believe, was back in the late 90s, and I think it was in the tens of millions of dollars restoring the outside facade of the building. It's incredible to remember this.
I remember there's a native Haida totem pole museum in Victoria, isn't there?
There's the Royal British Columbia Museum, which is just down on the corner where the wind chime or the chimes you heard were coming from. So there's a totem pole park down there, and of course on the lawn of the legislature, there's quite a totem. There's one as well.
Look at the flowers. Oh, take a close up. Turn them up.
The flowers. Close up. Everybody loves the flowers.
The ones that were behind you.
She said the ones that were behind you.
Yes, they don't have the sun in it.
The sun's facing better, so they can see those.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh.
Look at that.
I'm trying this a little bit different today. I got my wife running the camera. I've got the headphones in, so I'm letting her do the video work, and I'm trying to do the dialogue. So
you're doing well. I love it.
Well, tell her thank you very much.
Yep, she's doing a
You gotta
great
thank
job.
she says, "No worries, anytime when you're not working."
You regret saying that. I'll keep you busy.
John says you'll regret saying that.
Who's the guy standing on the pedestal?
Who's the? I'm gonna guess that it's Sir James Cook. Probably, or give me 1 second here. Captain James Cook, who is credited, I believe, with the discovery of Vancouver Island. Whether he actually did or not, it's a different story. But no, James Cook.
Cook, not hook.
Oh, I thought you said hub.
In March 1773, they put into Utica Sound for the repairs and the trade with the native peoples. With him on the voyage were Mr. William Blitch as master of the Resolution and head, oh man, these are really bad, midshipman George Vancouver.
Yeah, okay. So he's credited with basically the discovery of Vancouver Island. So.
Turn to the left and see. Let's look at the Empress again. Your other left.
Other left.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. 36
Okay.
There you go. I knew that was the angle.
Do they have a hotel called the Emperor?
The Empress?
Yep.
The Emperor.
No, did they have one called the Emperor?
No.
I don't believe so.
That seems
Not that I'm aware of.
That's not very fair.
No.
Well, the railways
there's a
really
suggestion.
built some beautiful hotels in different places in Canada. They are incredible.
That they have. I believe you know what, the gentleman that actually designed the hotel won a competition. He did the Parliament buildings, which are over my right shoulder here, and won a design competition just by his drawing alone. And so won the right to design the Parliament buildings, designed that. And once they saw the Parliament buildings, they engaged him for the design of the hotel. So he designed both buildings down here.
Cool.
Oh, I don't know if you guys can see the couple. We just panned out into the harbor there. There's a couple of float planes coming in. That's just gone behind the one boat. Of course, there's lots of that too. People that make it to Vancouver and then come across. Instead of taking the hour-and-a-half ferry trip, they take the 15-minute airplane ride by float plane and go harbor to harbor from downtown Vancouver to downtown Victoria.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's nice on a day like today, but if it's windy and raining and rough weather, it's not the most.
Not so
definitely it'll excite you. That's for sure. Those float plane pilots can drop out of the air on a dime.
Did you get a lot of rain in there?
We do get a lot of rain here. Yes. A lot of rain, but not a lot of snow.
Are those a bunch of gardens over there that spell out a word?
It is. It says across the. It says "Welcome to Victoria" is what it says.
Oh, okay.
In the red flowers that are all done in the flower beds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I would assume that is so you can see it by the air.
And if it wasn't for COVID, you wouldn't even be able to see that.
No, there'd be, as I say, wall-to-wall people down along there.
I miss the buskers, though. They should have 2 or 3 buskers, even if it's.
I know you would think they do, but I don't see anybody, as I said. So I'm going to go down to the corner here, talk a little bit about the Parliament buildings. And there is a total pull on the corner down here, and then we'll drop down the stairs and turn around and maybe come back the way we came on the lower level.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yeah, I know a guy that's been busking in Central Park in New York City for 28 years. This is the first year in 28 years he's not out there.
Wow. Really like Canada's Hollywood. A little bit. We do a lot of, between Vancouver and Victoria, there is quite a bustling movie industry. So you get that throughout the season. And of course, with the Inner Harbour here, you get a lot of higher up mucky-muck types that come in with their pleasure yachts that are, they've got a crew of maybe 20 or 30 that live aboard on the lower levels. and take care of the ship and work the ship. And then they fly in and land. Some of them even have a helicopter pad on the back of the ship. And so they can basically, a marina that's built, like a super yacht marina that's just kind of off in the distance here.
Oh, wow.
Kind of hard to see, but they dock out there. But they used to bring some of the bigger boats into the harbor here. And you get quite the kerfuffle because there are two ferries, one of which runs over to Port Angeles and back, which is on the Olympic Peninsula of Washington State. And then the other one, the small, is a Victoria to Vancouver ferry that's right in front of us here. And that one's done. They're not doing that anymore. And then there's another one that runs down to right into Seattle, one of the piers down in Seattle and back. So the Clipper. Not uncommon to see somebody walking along with 4 or 5 guys are surrounding them that make me look small. And you get the types of, Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand is one that frequents here quite a bit in the summer. She brings her boat up, docks the boat, and lives aboard the boat, and then basically comes ashore during the evenings and hops back on the boat, and is pretty secure and sound, right? So
That's one beautiful government building.
it is one beautiful government building.
Oh, there's a bell tower.
That's what we're looking at right now is actually the BC Museum, the Royal BC Museum.
Right, that's where all the totem poles were around there.
There's the other sort of corner where we are is the totem pole park. There is one smaller pole right sort of over my right shoulder here. We're just turning around to get.
Walk over and take a look, or you have to cross the street there.
No, there's
No,
one
we're
right
good.
there.
Can we get closer, Jim?
Isn't there one straight ahead?
The dome makes me think of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. I wonder
It
if
looks.
one influenced the other.
I couldn't tell you. So construction of the Parliament buildings was started in 1893 and was completed in 1897.
Are those statues on top?
So there is. I'll talk a little bit about them. So over my right shoulder, right in the middle, sort of here, there is a black statue that is of Queen Victoria. Stands on the front lawn. There's a cenotaph, sort of almost right in front of me here on the corner, commemorating the province's World War II veterans, the Korean War and Afghanistan War. And then atop that center dome on the legislature, that gold-covered statue, once again, is of Captain George Vancouver.
What is
And
that?
I'll tell you,
Totem?
I don't want to have to be the guy that gets up and cleans George Vancouver. Because about once or twice a year, you see 1 or 2 brave souls up there shining that guy up.
That's beautiful.
Wow, look at that.
What is the significance of the Native American totem?
So the significance of the Native American or the Indigenous Totem is that we actually are on land that was first inhabited by Aboriginals here in Victoria, and the harbor was one of their mainstays. It was a lifeline of trading, was sort of where they had different sites that they had their, longhouses and that. So basically the whole harbor, you say who was first here, they were first here.
So I can see a frog on top. What's below the frog?
Frog on top. I'm guessing the next one would be a bear or a wolf, but I'm guessing it's a bear.
Yeah, maybe.
And then below that, I'm going to say a beaver with the teeth that can maybe point out. So you have the 2 teeth of the beaver just above my fingers here.
Right.
I'd say the bear, the frog, and then I would say maybe human or man on the bottom. So it says Project of Native Indians participated Centennial Subcommittee to commemorate the Centenary of the Union in 1866 of the colonies of Vancouver Island in the mainland of British Columbia. It is a Waikato bear pole. It was carved by Mr. Henry Hunt in Victoria here and donated by Macmillan Blodell and Powell River Limited. So a couple of the logging companies here on the island.
Watch out, it's gonna bite your hand.
Yeah, they said watch out or it might bite your hand. They're joking though, right? I guess you guys probably didn't see how quick she took away her hand.
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm
It's
glad you
just a
caught that.
joke. Just a joke.
It's just a joke.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah, they heard
Okay.
you.
Oh, I need to say.
Yeah, let's drop down. Okay, so we're gonna go down and walk along the lower level.
You got a palm tree.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Don't ask.
Oh, jeez.
It's not a native species.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I know.
That's a great shot.
Just
from the-
stop there a second.
Stop for a second, Jen. Just sort of.
These are still down the water.
So these sailboats, are they private boats that they gotta pay rent, park? Your boat?
They pay moorage, so usually you pay moorage by the foot length here, and so the rate down here I would assume is maybe higher than most of the marinas around. That I'm not quite sure. So I would say it's a lot of more tourist type. Some of them are actually private whale watching, private sightseeing tours that operate out of the harbor down here. And I would say the rest are privately owned, that people that are traveling and have decided to come in and spend a few days, if not more, down here.
I love that shot from the lower level. Great.
Sure, you can show the plaque from the Commonwealth Games. Remember that happening. The plaque commemorating the Commonwealth Games that happened back in 1994 here. All the countries involved.
It's totally surreal to be able to walking along like that with no crowds in the summer. It's just,
Yes, it feels kind of weird in person too, John.
What are those black mushroom-like things?
So those black mushroom-like things are actually a fancy lantern that comes on at night to illuminate the walkway.
Oh,
Have a light underneath them or a couple of lights that spread out.
and I thought they were anchors to tie your boat to.
A lot of people think that. A lot of people think there's some creative bench for people to sit on. Yeah. Just a light.
I bet it's pretty at night.
It is gorgeous.
we'll do an evening walk.
Sounds like a great idea.
We'll make it happen.
What is this artwork? Is this artwork?
This is one of the main areas that we have busking when it happens down here. And there's a performer schedule on the wall on the far left here, but of course there's nothing on it right now. And then just some photography from the archives of the museum talking about sort of the old use of the Inner Harbour in the Songhees Reserve.
It's what it used to look like.
That's what some of the buildings used to look like down and around here.
Oh, look at those boats.
Those are all the hollowed out cedar logs.
Longboats, yeah. Dugout canoes. There's actually over at the Totem Pole Park there is a carving shed as well. So on some days it's hit and miss, but you wander over there and there's actually gentlemen working on either a boat or a totem pole, and it's quite interesting to sit and watch them carve.
So what they do is hollow out an entire log to create those canoes.
They'd actually burn them to char the wood and make it easier to carve out. And over time of burning and carving, they'd hollow them out and then design and carve the outside, especially the bow. And there's a good shot of what sort of the Inner Harbour looked like back in 1874, as it said. I was just trying to get a date, so.
Wow.
So are a few boats going out to look at whales?
You know what? I actually haven't seen a single boat come in or leave or go anywhere. So I would say that I think even the whale watching is shut down on the smaller boats just due to COVID. Sorry, Jen? Okay, so there was a bigger one from the same company here, Prince of Wales. They have quite a large aluminum hulled boat that I'm guessing holds 40 or so people. And apparently it went out a little bit earlier on, so.
Likely with 10 people or something.
Like probably with a limited number of people, yes. That's why they're not using the smaller boats.
I saw that video comparing back at Niagara Falls and the boats going from the Canadian side and the American side, and the American boat was full of people and the Canadians were sensibly distanced.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I know there's people are wanting to reopen things up and get the economy going again, but we're all too close, I think, here to the stone's throw from the American border, and people are petrified of what might happen if they reopen that up to.
Yep.
So.
No, I can understand and sympathize.
Yeah.
We don't have much happening here to help us yet.
No, sweetie, not today.
Lori, are things quieter in Santa Cruz this summer?
Not at all.
Really?
It's far worse than normal.
Oh, no.
And people, what's really sad is that there's no respect for 6 feet or wearing face masks with people who are coming to the beach to party. They drive over the hill, and so our numbers have been artificially low because most people were coming and going. But now it's finally catching up with our population, so.
Oh, dear. I wondered how things were for the boardwalk.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm not going anywhere.
Your area? Yeah, I'm staying in too.
With setting up these shows where we've had to change locations, and and do different things just because the rise in COVID. We were going to do Edinburgh, and now we're doing Dundee, and we were going to do Hiroshima, and now we're doing the bonsai tree museum, and we just have to
Have to kind of go with the flow.
there's no travel. We reduce the amount of travel for the photographers to the absolute minimum,
Yeah.
and then we'll cancel a show if they say there's too many crowds. We just cancel the show.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, did that happen with Sear?
It has not with Syria yet, but with everything. Thailand's really good. Vietnam, both Thailand and Vietnam have almost zero.
Oh, they've been careful.
And in Thailand, in Sears town, it's great. He says they haven't had any cases.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky on the island here. We've had our cases, but slowly watched the numbers decline. And we had, I think we're down to about 0, but in the last, I'm gonna say 3 weeks, it's climbed back up. Where I think the latest number where we had about
8, I think.
8 new cases or so within the last week, but that covers the entire island, north to south, which is a 5.5, 6 hour drive, and also covers the Sunshine Coast of the mainland. So we're talking a pretty big
good area.
So
yeah.
we're pretty lucky all in all here.
Sounds like it.
Keep it up.
John would be happy. His patio opened at noon. Opens at noon. You can get your beer, John.
Well, politically in Canada, if you want to not get elected, all a politician has to do is be in favor of opening up. He'll lose his job very quickly.
Yes.
There we go. We're back in business. Beer garden's open.
Yeah.
John's a happy guy. Is that a whale in front of us?
Whale in front of us. No, it's not. Oh, it is. Yes. Hold on a second here. Just letting some people go by. We have a collection of them around town.
Right there.
I can't remember. They were, of course, the commissioned work. They were given to different artists to basically decorate.
I think it was cancer research.
For cancer research? Is that what it went towards? Okay, the whales, my wife said it maybe for cancer research. So
In Bucks County, Pennsylvania, they did cows.
very cool. Cows because it's dairy or because it's ranch land?
Oh no, it's not neither really.
Neither really. Okay. So my wife just said that Calgary, Alberta did cows as well.
Okay.
The larger boats down here was close to, I believe it was 140 meters long, and they actually had a tough time turning it around in the harbor with the 2 ferries that run out of here.
Wow.
So if you can imagine the Coho, which comes over from Port Angeles, is another ferry that's probably about the same length, and there's a sailboat right in front of us here that is flying a Mexican flag. So
Under normal circumstances or times, do they have cruise ships come by?
we do have cruise ships that's a little bit farther out along the breakwater. So they dock further out, and then it's about a 15-minute walk or a 5-minute bus ride for the tourists to get into town. But they usually come in on a Thursday or Friday night, and we see the population, especially downtown here, go up by about 10,000 people within an hour or two. It's ridiculous. So everything, as I say, we definitely depend on the tourism box. So
yeah.
Is that the Empress over there? Or am I in the wrong city?
No, you're in the right city. Hold on here a second. The Empress is over my left shoulder here. So we do.
There you go.
Right.
I'm just gonna
Wow.
duck out of the way here.
Lots of places to stay.
And then maybe just a 360. There are lots of places to stay here. More than.
It's beautiful. Just beautiful.
The Grand Pacific Hotel across that we're looking at. That whole area is hotels. The Chateau Victoria, so it doesn't last very long. If we get snow here, the snow melts within 24 hours. Otherwise, it shuts the entire city down for 4 or 5 days if we get a large accumulation, which is always interesting.
Royal Sea.
See?
Well, we'd like to thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Be
That
lucky
was
to
quite a
talk
walk. I hope it didn't take too much out of you, Chris.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
that was good. I got down here. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing, and it didn't take too much out of me. So that was good.
Oh, good test.
They are they're called pickle boats, and I travel over. I was gonna say once, twice a year, but right now that's all done over teleconferencing for the last 2 appointments and the one coming up. So they're actually putting a halt to making people travel into downtown Vancouver and through downtown out to UBC. So they're trying to stop the spread as well. So they're using technology, and the last 2 appointments and the one coming, I have one coming up in October, and that'll be all done over FaceTime.
So
I'm glad they're doing that.
Chris, you're the same guy that took us out to see the Rocky mussels.
That
Right.
that is me,
Yep.
same guy. When we were up on a family vacation up in Tofino.
On the beach.
Yes,
That
Yep.
was cool. We really like that.
awesome. Well, I'm glad I could make it happen. So I hope to do a few more of these in the future. So
Thanks again.
Great.
you're welcome, everybody.
job.
All right,
And thank your wife and your daughter.
Yep.
I will do. Thank you,
Yes,
everybody,
no.
and everybody have a great and stay safe and have a good afternoon.
All right.
You too.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Take care, everybody.
You
you're
too.
welcome.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, John.